in that hour, in those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, Season 3, Episode 6. In this episode, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome along Adam Hall. Adam, you're very welcome.
Thanks, Gavin. It's good to chat to you again, and it's good to be on the podcast. I have to say, I've probably listened to every one now, and no, it's always good to hear the interview. So, no, it's a pleasure to be on.
Thank you very much. So, we thought we would take a wee look back, I suppose, on what has happened this year. Like I always do a wee thing there on social media, like the Paddy Power, and like to celebrate the best of what this island has produced over the past year. Like it's been phenomenal, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I guess it's good every year in Ireland. There's rarely a disappointing year. But obviously coming back from the layoff, and everybody's been glad to get away and get outside, get to see different things and see rallying back again. It's been brilliant. But even if you look beyond what's happened at home, like the performances by our drivers abroad, it definitely has been one of the better years. Probably one of the best years, in fact, in regards to that.
Yeah, I like right from the highest level right down through. You know, like I had the four co-drivers on there. You know, a couple of months ago, Fred Gallagher, Terry Harriman, and them guys. And I think it was Fred mentioned on the night, like standing on the shoulder of giants. Like it was guys like that blazed the trail. You know, with Paddy Hopkirk, the before mentioned Harriman, Gallagher, and then Chris Meek, all those guys, and then even the engineers, technicians, mechanics. Richard Cregan was the head of Team Toyota Europe. You know, like for this a population of what, less than 7 million in this island, like we have no right to be where we are. But it's just we seem to be able to produce people of exceptional quality.
Yeah, it's just I suppose the concentration of the sport. Like there's definitely, even within Ireland, there's the regions where rallying is such a big thing. Like, and you've obviously parts in Ulster, even in around Belfast. Like there's so many of those co-drivers from the early years came from that, and I guess it came from the circle. And you go down to Clarny and there's another, a stronghold, and Donegal, Monaghan, everywhere. Like you can see how it's a community thing, and obviously it takes talent to do these things as well. But when the passion's there and people see the hard work by a generation before and what they have been able to achieve in the sport they love, like it's bound to be encouraging for everyone to come along to do that again. And I guess that this year's been a year where you see another generation come along, and you can see how they can influence younger people again to go and aim for those things.
Absolutely, it shows, it's possible. Like we sometimes, kind of maybe suffer from a wee bit of like an inferiority complex. We don't think we're good enough, but like we've shown we are, really, So
yeah, definitely.
So like I suppose like for this look back, we'll go down through various championships. Like so, it's only right we start at the very top, the World Championship, and like like unbelievable by our lads this year.
Yeah, if you go to the WRC, what Craig Breen and Paul Nagel, they've been standout drivers, and again, what that five starts in WRC this year with their part-time program, and they came away with 3 podiums and two runner-up finishes. And even within that, you can see how maybe they had to play a team role in some of those performances, and the results could have been even better if they'd got a full chance to go for it. But yeah, it's maybe not the best year for them in terms of number of world rallies that they've been able to do, but in terms of performances, it's been unbelievable, and definitely their best year together, and they've got rewarded for it. And again, we look at this from an Irish point of view, but I think our support of Craig and Paul, it's been furthered this year when you see so many people from outside Ireland and outside the UK just stating obvious that they really do deserve a full-time shot in a factory drive. And yeah, it's brilliant to see M Sport has given them that. And yeah, I think everybody's excited to see what they can do next year as well.
Yeah, it's not even been seen as a leap of faith by M Sport to do this. It's a natural progression, really, isn't it? So yeah,
definitely. It's just became one of those drivers now that everybody knows should be there in every round and deserves to be there. And again, he's a driver that you would miss if he wasn't on every round. Again, if you go back to the years where Chris Meek was there, everybody, he was the big name. Everybody was watching out for him, just his driving style, his character, all the extra things that fans love about a motorsport icon or whatever.
I like Craig wears his heart in his sleeve, like he doesn't hide his emotions, we all know how he feels coming the end of the stage. It's not hidden by no manner of means, so
definitely he's got a brilliant personality at stage end, and even his love for the sport as well, like the drives he's done at home, and what legacy in M3 is driving rally legend as well. Like it just goes to show that he's a true fan deep down as well, and I think people really do appreciate that too.
Absolutely. And like we can't forget Paul Nagel. Paul has come up, and he's done the hard road in Ireland before he ever progressed, and it was so richly deserved that he gets this opportunity as well.
Definitely. And again, it's been nice hearing Paul's point of view after coming home to win at Killarney Historic as well. Like obviously started off at home, and he did his groundwork with a lot of different drivers and a lot of different cars and a lot of different national rallies and championships at home, and he obviously got his chance international level, and obviously all his time with Chris as well. But it was nice hearing how much he appreciated getting the opportunity to come home and win rallies at home. That's close to his heart before the next 2 years when that's not going to be as easy to do with their full-time commitment. So again, it's just brilliant to see top line drivers from our country, but how much love they have for rallying in Ireland as well.
Yeah, and like the way they support it, as you mentioned there, like the M3, the legacy, and even the 2019 coming over here and doing the championship and reigniting both their passion for the sport. We've seen that they are real bubble hunters, I suppose, for want of a better description, so.
Yeah, no, and again, that story from 2019 to now is a special one as well. It's the type of thing you can imagine in 10, 20 years time, and you look back and you track over their careers, that period of disappointment at the end of 2018 when they were both without a contract, really through no fault of their own. Like it wasn't down to performance. And yeah, coming back from a point where they didn't know what they were going to be doing, and started in Galway. And yeah, worked their way back, won rallies they wanted to win, bucket list events in many ways for them, and yeah, they took their chance with Hyundai, and now they're back full time in WRC. It's brilliant.
Absolutely. And then we'll move on then. Like Chris Patterson, what can we say that hasn't already been said?
I know, it's such a career as well, and yeah, I guess it was probably a surprise to see him back. I'm not sure many of us saw it coming, and yeah, obviously you can talk about stats as well, but I guess with with his partnership with Gus, it's maybe been more a character building exercise, or you can see how the whole atmosphere inside the car has changed. And definitely I think it's been publicized, like from the championship, how much Gus has developed this year. And again, he's been rewarded with a contract next year, and I'm sure he would have a lot to thank Chris for as part of that. So yeah, it's been a nice way for Chris to end his time in WRC, or to come back to WRC. And even his interviews at the end of his last rally in Spain, like that was pretty special to listen to. And you could just tell he was a gentleman who loved his time doing co-driving at the highest level.
Yeah, and like, to go out on a high, like you couldn't ask for better, really, could he?
Yeah, and sure, in that type of car as well, and on a rally like Rally Spain or Rally Catalunya, like yeah, if you were to pick rallies to finish your time and in a rally car, just with the aero and everything else, I'm sure that was a special one to end it on.
Yeah, because as you say, we're going to look back in 20 years' time, and these cars are going to be remembered. Like, they're going to be the Group B monsters of their day, really, aren't they? So
yeah, definitely,
for sure. And then at the other end of the scale, well, he's a few years' experience and below his belt now at this stage. But Aaron Johnson, like, has to be one of the bright young stars of the WRC at the moment. Like, it's really starting to take off for him now, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, we talked at the start about the generational thing, or picking up from guys who had been there before. Like you have Aaron, who's, I think, came under the wing of Chris, and Chris probably helped Aaron get his opportunities with the Stolbergs as well. So yeah, Aaron's took his chance, and I think he's impressed a lot of people. And again, to get a contract with Toyota, like that's one thing, definitely, but to get a chance to help their young driver, their Japanese, the future star, or they're pumping a lot of effort into Takamoto Katsuda to have a Japanese rally driver in the WRC, to sort of see them put their faith in Aaron to guide him through his first full year properly, and in the WRC full time and every event. Like, that's pretty impressive to see Aaron get that opportunity.
Absolutely. And Taka has shown, like, he has the speed then to be mixing up there in podiums and one thing and another. So it's a very exciting time ahead for Aaron there, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. The start of the season, especially, you've seen Takamoto's pace, and yeah, I guess it comes back to the responsibility with Aaron, as Aaron's more than capable to do the co-driver's job with pace notes and to read that effectively. But again, I think you can sense a very experienced nature with Aaron, and he's a wise head on him. And I think the fact that they've given him the role to bring Takamoto on and to help him through that, like, he's going to have a big responsibility inside the car to keep things calm. And you see with Paul and Craig how Paul can say something to keep things in control whenever he feels things are going too quick or whatever. So yeah, there's all that side of things. And yeah, what more can you say? I think Aaron's definitely proved himself now at the top level, and it's exciting to see where his career will go, because he's still very young, isn't
he? That's for sure. And like, we're talking about young guys, like, three of the next generation coming through, like, John Armstrong, William Crichton, and Josh McLean. Like without a doubt, any one of them would not look out of place in a WRC2 car next year. It may not happen, but we can but hope. Like, you have to look at John, especially, like, so unfortunate to not come away with the title. But like to step in and be at the level he was at this year, after practically not being in the car and in any car now for the last what 3-4
Yeah.
years really.
Yeah. And that's three guys. It's hard to give each one of them enough credit because you have to go through three of them. You know, if it was just one of those guys doing what they were doing this year, you know, you could give them so much more time and give them so much publicity. But like equally, all three of them have done an amazing job. And yeah, with John, as you say, he came so close, and the fact that you come away from that disappointed for him speaks volumes in itself. Because yeah, what it was 2017 when he had his last drives in WRC2, I think, his Drive DMAC prize. So he went from that. In 2018, he didn't do any real life rallying. He went to his virtual rallying. 2019, he obviously came and done a couple of events in Ireland, Galway, and the Down Rally. And then 2020, he had Rally Sweden, which didn't end too well for him. And to come back from that, not only I guess from a performance point of view, but his mentality to be able to do that, jump straight back into a car, jump and get a budget pulled together, a proper program, not even a program to do rounds at home or do a British Championship. It's back into the World Championship to do all those things, go to the first round, not having driven the car since Rally Sweden, and go and get the win. Like, you know, I don't know too many other drivers that would have the talent, the composure, everything to go and do that. So it's crazy that all happened. But again, like the other two guys, Josh and William, like William did junior WRC. You could see his speed increasing through the whole year. His last two events in Spain and Belgium, like he was as quick as anybody on those two. And he obviously did the job in the Junior British Championship as well. So yeah, that's an exciting season ahead of him next year, whatever he plans to do. And yeah, Josh as well. Like, I don't know, you can maybe give the rundown on Josh, but again, he's an exciting future ahead of him, and probably someone that needed some support and needed some guys around him to push him onto that level. And he's dealt with the pressure of all that brilliantly. He's so composed, and he goes and does his job, and you can see his development as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Because like, you know, they didn't put him down into like a championship or anything this year. That, you know, the guys behind him, like the Motorsport Ireland Academy there, like Sean McHugh and John Coyne, that they took him to events and let him find his feet and let him find his pace and his speed. Like, you know, going over to America, coming away with third place, like lifted his confidence. Then brought him back, and you know, Roma de Capital, it wasn't it that he finished on the podium. You know, like every event he done, it was nearly tailored to his needs. That lifted the confidence, that built his confidence in the car and his time behind in the seat. It was just such a well managed program. And then the last couple of events then he was doing was WRC, and he just slotted in. It was almost natural, wasn't it? Really, you know.
Yeah, totally unfazed by it. And again, I think the start of the year, you probably could have looked at it and been like, what, you know, why is he going to America? Or, you know, it doesn't make any sense. You know, Williams doing junior WRC here. It's you know, why not go for the championship? But when you look back at this year, it makes so much sense. He's experienced different surfaces. He did Rally Portugal, and the week or 2 weeks before that, he did a warm-up event there to get him and the car up to speed. You know, it was very well thought through, and I'm hoping now that the 3 or 4 WRC3 events, and obviously that close link with Hyundai that they have, I hope that's a sign of what's to come next year, because you just know Josh will you know take whatever's put before him and give it his best. And again, that professional approach, he puts a lot of time and effort into his preparation, and yeah, he's like the rest of the lads. He's got the talent to do the job. So yeah, it's brilliant. I think what his top result this year, maybe third in WRC in Yeep this year, and yeah, so like that's his or no, sorry, it was Rally Spain. He got his first podium in WRC3 and 3 top 5s this year in WRC3. So he's came away this year with lots of good results, and I'm sure he won't be settling for that. He'll be looking to go bigger and better next year.
Absolutely, and we've seen it as well too. We completed some of the Rickies of events as well this year too. So there obviously is an eye on next year. But we'll just go back there on John. Like, one of my standout performances of the whole year, I have to say, was John and Phil in Belgium this year. Like, going against guys, the likes of William and these guys that had been there before. He knew that he had to go and be fast from the get-go. And by Friday evening, he was controlling the rally.
Yeah, actually,
that's unheard of, going to Belgium, really, and that's such a specialised event.
Again, it's a event he probably went there. I think he was second or third in the championship. He had a retirement with the car earlier on in the season, and with there only being 5 rounds, he probably went to Belgium knowing that he had to go and get a win. And yeah, he hadn't been there before. I think he had been once to do the recce, but he had never done the rally. And yeah, I think after the first day, he was 40 seconds out in front over whoever was in second. So it's just, what you can't put those figures down to anything other than just speed and natural ability. And it's the fact he can go set those times in adversity. In many cases, I think the first day he bent the rear axle, and he was managing that through the first day, and to go do that, knowing what was on the line and come away with a 40-second lead, like it's crazy at that level. Like it's pretty special.
Yeah, and we know we'll come on to William again later on when we're discussing the VRC. But William was the perfect wingman for him that weekend. That John had to kind of temper his speed with more consistency to get to the end of the event. He needed the maximum points, and William was there then to take the points off the other guys. If there was such a thing as a perfect weekend, it must have come damn close to him for them.
Yeah. I think that was the funny side to it when you looked at it. And Sunday evening was it was Sammy Parry was John's main rival in the Junior World Championship, and I think he was maybe second overall, but with John in the lead, John was backing off to try and keep his overall points, and Sammy was pushing hard for stage win points, but William was there going and getting the stage win. So he was keeping the points off John's rival. And again, like it's all good humor, but at the same time, John and William were good and close this year. Like, it was nice to see that friendship, and again, they were both helping each other in different ways, and it's a credit to those guys that despite the rivalry, despite what's on the line, and they both want to get places in rallying, that they take time with each other, they have good crack with each other, they get on, their mates or whatever. Like, it's just brilliant to see that.
Absolutely. And then we'll go to the European Rally Championship. A happy hunting ground in past years, maybe just quite as successful this year, but great to see, like Callum Devine over there competing, whenever there was no rallying here at home. Josh McLean went over and done some of the events as well. Kathleen McCourt and Jason Mitchell as well. It was great to see guys not just prepared to go, there's no rally at home, we'll set it out here, being proactive and going out and finding events and going and doing them, and not being scared to go at the high level.
Yes, the best of the West went to went to the European Championship with those guys, but yeah, it was nice following that. I can't even remember what time of the year that was. Maybe April, May, June time. They went to Poland and Latvia, wasn't it? So no, it was brilliant following that. And again, they're all talented guys, and I'm sure they learnt a lot from those rallies. I think Jason Mitchell was saying when he came back to do the bushwhacker and those events, you know, he felt the benefit of just the sheer stage miles that you get on a European Championship events. You know, it's 2 full days, long stages. So I guess, yeah, you'll see their pace. Obviously Jason's still learning. He's making his way through all the different parts of rallying. But yeah, with Catherine as well, like he's more than capable of getting strong results on gravel over here. And obviously Callum and Josh are 2 of the fastest young drivers we'll have as well.
And like, you know, whenever Callum come home, like we've seen the benefit of, you know, doing them European Championship events. Like he was able to get into the car from the first stage and be on it. There was no rust or nothing. It was instantaneous almost.
Yeah, like he finished, we didn't know it at the time, but the Bahrain Rally in the Czech Republic was his last European Championship round, and that was probably his best of the year in the RC. It just seemed to come together better. He had no mechanical troubles really. So yeah, I guess he jumped off that and straight into the rallying at home. He went to Cork and Donegal and the Tour of the Sperrins and won 3 in a row, which is, you know, you can look at it and say, okay, he's fighting with top guys in the RC. He should be coming home and winning those rallies. But I think for anyone to win 3 rallies in a row, like it shows speed, consistency, and again the experience and composure to finish it off when it was needed to, because they weren't necessarily runaway victories. Like he had close battles with different people in each one, and his rivals were definitely pushing for the win. They weren't going for a runner-up finish. So yeah, it definitely showed what Callum's done over the past 2 years has paid off, and it mightn't improve his outright pace at home, but I think the overall roundness of his character, or the experience of how to finish off a rally or deal with setup things and all those different types of stuff, I'm sure he's benefited from that.
There's definitely a more mature approach now, isn't it? It doesn't seem to be, things don't seem to be annoying him the same. It seems to be, you know, right, let's do it, you know, keep going, you know, it's not, you know, so that's fantastic to see. Then the BRC, probably the closest to home that we had, you know, a lot of guys went over at the start of the year, especially to support the British Championship. You know, the very first round, like a dream result, Sam Moffat taking victory, you know, like it was, we thought, woohoo, you know, we can do this, you know.
Definitely, that was a big result at the time, and I'm sure Sam was quite surprised to rock up and win the first round of the BRC as well. I remember at the time he was saying how little preparation he did with it, with all his work commitments and stuff. So again, it was a different sort of a rally, wasn't it? It was at Oden Park, all circuit based. So I guess if you're picking a tarmac rally as far away from what Sam's used to in the Irish roads, that's what it is. And I guess what it comes down to skill more than anything, or precision driving on rallies like that. So yeah, it was nice to see that. And again, that was a competitive field. Like everybody in the BRC was out at that. So it was good, and I think it was quite a close finish in the end as well.
Yeah, it was point something of a second, wasn't it? Then finish up. So
it's a good start to the season.
Absolutely. And you know, as the championship continued, like some of the guys from here dropped away and one thing and another. But the Junior British Rally Championship was almost an Irish stronghold, you know. You know, the William Crichton, you know, like bringing his JWRC experience, Eamon Kelly, Kyle White, David Kelly, these guys were the guys that we were waiting on the stage times coming at the end, because we knew they were going to be in the mix.
Definitely. That's nearly like there was a sneaky line in the regulations for the junior championship that it had to be an Irish crew or something. It was crazy. But yeah, I think those guys, there were different leaders as well through the year, championship wise. I actually think William maybe only finished the year as the leader, just the way the drop scores worked. I think it was Eamon before that, and then Kyle White maybe led near the start of the year as well. So no, it was brilliant. And again, those guys are at different levels in their career, but they definitely overachieved in many ways. Like young Kyle was going very well in his 208, and he was, I think everybody could see that he was getting the absolute maximum out of that package. And obviously Eamon, that was his first year in gravel, his first year in BRC, and he was the championship leader for a lot of rounds, and he won two of the rallies as well. So like obviously William was the standout driver in terms of speed, and everyone expected that, but for the other guys to see where the speed was at and to push themselves towards that, I'm sure it's all very encouraging for them.
Absolutely. As you say, it was almost expected of William, but William has had a lot of bad luck in the BRC. Like he's lost out in the title for twice, if not three times. And to have that's bound to weigh down on you, being coming into the season as favourite. But the way he carried it off, and picked off the events and carried, that he drove exemplary, but it also helped to raise the other guys. Eamon Kelly, Kyle White, these guys, it made them lift their game too. So
yeah, I think you feel like William's still quite a young driver now, and you imagine he nearly won the junior championship in 2017. I think it was with Callum. Callum was his rival back then. It's crazy, and again just shows the natural talent there.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Eamon there. Eamon, his first year on gravel, phenomenal. Yes, Mr. Consistency, but there was speed. There was speed mixed in along with that consistency. He went to the Ulster with a lot of pressure on. He had to go out and won, and probably the most difficult conditions we've seen at the Ulster Rally now in a long number of years, where it would have been so easy to put the car in the hedge. But he, I would say, for me, probably one of the drives of the Ulster Rally, for him and Connor to jump into that car, put in the times they were doing, take the one. They done all they could possibly do. So it's great to see it.
It was a nice way to round off the championship as well, because you obviously didn't want bad luck to fall on either driver, but in many ways both Eamon and Will did the job that they had to do. Eamon went and drove a perfect rally and won junior BRC on the event, and William got second on the rally, and that was enough for him to win the championship. So again, it speaks volumes that obviously Eamon didn't get the championship in the end, but he did the job that he had to do. All the best he could do was to win junior BRC on the event. So definitely I think Eamon will be encouraged by how his speeds progressed through the year. He definitely was very consistent at the start, which I'm sure helped them get the experience to go and push a bit harder towards the end of the season, and to come away with two wins at the end of the year in such a competitive championship. It's definitely something to be proud of, and hopefully again that's something he can build on next year, whatever he plans to do.
For sure. And then like said, David Kelly, who set some blindingly good times, and then moved into an R5 there towards the end of the year, and was able to carry that pace across. So, it shows these guys this next level coming through. We have a very exciting talent pool coming through, haven't we?
Yeah, and again, if it's, I guess, the way my mind works, you always try and relate it to something that happened a few years before, and you look back at Rob Duggan and Callum Devine when they took their first steps into an R5 car, even John Armstrong to a certain degree as well. Like, they jumped in and they didn't look out of their depth at all.
Yeah.
They were able to punch in quick time straight away, and that's what David was able to do on the Harvest and Wexford as well, wasn't he? He went to, and to go and do that takes, it definitely takes skill, because the guys he's up against are more used to the car and four-wheel drive, everything like that. So again, whatever David plans to do next year, whether it's more stuff in the R5, it'll be exciting to see how he goes.
For sure. And Joseph Kelly, his first year outside the junior 1000, to go for and jump from junior 1000 into the junior British Rally Championship, huge step. But he took to it like a duck to water. He kept his head down. He done what all you could have asked of him, really.
Yeah, another Kelly. So let's say there's a serious theme going on here, but definitely, I think he's only 18 years old, and to jump into a championship like that and go well, and he's got a 208 purchase for next year. So that's going to be interesting. A slightly different car. We're more used to the Fiesta Rally 4, so from the European Championship this year, it looks like the 208's a very quick car in that category. So no, it'll be exciting to see how that goes. And I think Kyle White has got a 208 Rally 4 lined up as well. So it's just nice to see a bit of variety, and these young guys coming along. It's good to see they're investing in it and going about it the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't forget Johnny Mulholland and Aoife Rafferty as well. That the academy class in the British Championship as well, like a 1-2 there. Like, Johnny has done the championship now a few years, but he stuck with his R2 this year. I know he's hoping to go Rally 4 next year, but he dominated that championship. And then Aoife, who in her first year behind the wheel, I know she's co-driven in the past, but their first year behind the wheel, took to it, and had a plan in place and has stuck to it and has built up great time behind the wheel. That will help carry into next year as well for her.
Yeah, I think everyone was happy to see Johnny get his championship. Like, he's always been there in those cars, and it's brilliant to see him go and grab a result in the British Championship. So I think that gives him a bit of an incentive to go Rally 4 next year. So that'll be brilliant. And with Aoife, I think the commitment that she is showing in terms of the rallies that she's doing, there's been a massive variety. So it's nice to see new faces coming through, and I hope the development continues, and I hope with all the support that's going around with coaches and programs and stuff, hopefully that helps them out in the next few years.
For sure. And then we can't forget the national category that Niall Burns, co-drove Gary Pearson. What a year for that, for that pairing. 4 championships: the British National Championship, the Scottish Championship, the Welsh Championship, and
BTRTA.
BRT. That's the one. Yeah. Phenomenal.
Yeah. I know what an achievement. Yeah. You wouldn't think entering 4 championships, never mind winning 4.
Yes.
And again, with Niall, I was chatting to him, the Bushwhacker maybe, and looking at his year, he's done 17 rallies since his first one was the Nicky Grist. So that was back in June or July. So he's been a busy man, and it's great to see somebody like that getting championships in the bag, and I know he's somebody that will enjoy that and be proud of the achievement, which is, it's just a special achievement.
Absolutely, like almost the perfect year for him. Like you could never equal the likes of that. And then like Gary Jennings and Rory Kennedy, like the man who's been there, done that, and got the T-shirt. Don't know how many times gone over there. Still able to mix it with the guys. Yeah, a right-hand drive Fiesta is probably not the ideal car, but like to be wanting to go over and do that, like it takes a lot of commitment away from work and everything else too. It's great to see.
They just keep going, don't they? They love it, and it's great to have them there, and they're nice people to have around in the service park. It was nice to see them in the Ulster Rally service park, and fair play to them for going and doing the British Championship. And I think they appreciated having a championship for the car that they could sort of build their year around. And I'm sure as well it was nice to have a few Irish crews going over with them. So I guess whatever they do next year, it should be good. And I think the Harvest was a rally that Gary went very well on. It was nice to see him at the sharp end of a tarmac event at home again. So no, it was brilliant.
Should bode well, hopefully, for next year. And then
fingers crossed.
We can't forget Jason Black. Another young starter in the making. Like very little experience in gravel. We all kind of from we heard he was taking the start up to the gravel. We're like, oh no, this is not going to end well. But like he was superb. And then the two tire events to finish off the year, Mull and the Ulster. Like it showed exactly what makes him so special in those two events.
Yeah, again, just checking up on his results from this season, I think it probably has went a wee bit unnoticed because he was in a sort of unique class for the British Championship with a rear-wheel drive starlet. But yeah, I think that was his first gravel rallying in the car. It's a brave enough move because we all know how nice that car is.
Yes.
But yeah, he ended up with two fastest rear-wheel drive finishes in the Track Road Rally and the Cambrian Rally, which they're two competitive events over in the mainland. So he was the quickest, if you want to say quickest modified guy is how we would describe it. Over here, he did that his first year in gravel, which is a big achievement. And the Sperrins and the Ulster as well, two brilliant rallies. He hasn't forgot how to drive on tarmac either. It's just another young driver that has talent to go and get big results week in, week out. And again, Wall loves seeing him in the starlet. You always wonder what he could do in a bigger car, but in that modified class at home, it's so competitive. You'd love to see what the plans are for next year.
It would be lovely to see him in maybe likes of an R5 just to let that talent really shine, but then once you step up there, it's huge budgets and everything else too as well.
And you know what Jason's like he loves his rally, and he loves his rear wheel drive rallying. Like you can't blame him for sticking it out in the starlet. Like it's a special wee machine as well. I think we all enjoyed it on Ulster especially.
And he knows how to steer it. And we should take a wee look at the American Championship. Once again, the Irish contingent, like Barry McKenna, like one of the world rally cars. I know that's maybe not full WRC spec, but like these cars that we see on the world stage, rarely seen in privateer hands. Barry decides that's the car he needs for the American Championship, goes to M Sport, and I don't know, he bought a world car, and I don't know what else, because he has changed the whole outlook in the American Championship. Like there's R5s over there now, there's Rally 4 or R2s, maybe they haven't gotten into R4s yet. But like the outfit that they're bringing to every event now, it's outstanding. Like it's it's M Sport, you know,
Yeah.
was 2 or 3 years ago. Like
Yeah,
it really is.
it's incredible. I
Mhm.
think with that new car that he brought over this year, like the hype and the buzz before it was revealed, I think that sort of made it in itself. You know,
Mhm.
everybody was chatting about it. You had the rumors of what it could be and what it was and what it wasn't,
Mhm.
all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
sometimes that's
Oh,
half
yeah,
the crack
absolutely.
and half the enjoyment. And again, it
Mhm.
sort of brings us back to what it was like over here 15 years ago or whatever. So no, it was cool to see that over in America. And
Mhm.
I think they have a pretty hardcore fan base that follow the events, and the rallies are clearly very, very good in terms of the quality of the stages and all the rest. So
Mhm.
no, it's brilliant. And as you say, the McKenna Motorsport team now, it just seems to be massive, and
Yeah.
there seems to be more drivers and crews coming along every rally. Nearly you see somebody new cropping up in a Rally 2 Fiesta or whatever.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
no, it's great to see.
Yeah, and obviously taking a few guys from here, with Martin McKenna over, or not Martin McKenna, Martin McCormick, and
Yeah,
we call him, your guy Hamill was over as well, wasn't he?
yeah,
So like it's great to see, and there was a young Williams guy over from the UK as well. Like
yeah,
it's lovely to see how these guys get on, and like it shows the level that the American Championship is at. Like
yeah.
the blokes and Pastrana and these guys, they're pedaling cars fairly quickly too.
Definitely. I think the way the regulations are as well, it opens it up a wee bit more for the likes of Subaru, but I guess it just makes it all the more competitive for
Mhm.
the homologated cars or whatever behind. And it's just something different, isn't it? Like
Mhm. Yeah.
it's yes, it just adds a wee bit more interest, and
Mhm.
with all the I don't know, the business interest in America, we're so used to having Irish natives living in America, traveling home to do rallies in the UK or Ireland, and it's cool now to see sort of it going in the opposite way. You have guys, even Josh, who and Callum, who
Mhm.
went over
Yeah,
at the start of the year. We were
absolutely.
missing rallies over here, so
Mhm.
they hopped on a flight and went over and done a rally in America.
Yeah.
And I guess with all the knowledge and the connections with different people over there in the championship, it
Mhm.
sort of all helps to doing things like that.
Yeah. And like it would be so remiss of us not to mention, John Coyne, like a
Yeah,
man who's 70 plus years of age, like
yeah,
still loves going out and rallying, still competitive in his Rally 2 Fiesta, like,
yeah,
still knocking in top times, out there competing with the younger lads, like I'm
yeah.
sure Paul Riley would be delighted with hearing himself called a younger lad, but not even that, but what he has done for Irish rally in the last couple of years, like, it, it's special. There's no other way of describing it. It's taken Irish rally into a whole new level, really, what he has brought to the sport.
Yeah, it's you can just tell he has the love and the enjoyment for rallying. It's really for no other reason that he's doing
Uh,
it, you know.
uh,
And again, you can think back to when he was in the Porsche over
yeah.
here.
Mhm.
You're thinking, oh, John, it's brilliant to see him do it, going back and doing that. And a
Mhm.
few years on, he's still doing it. He's in a Rally 2 Fiesta and
Yeah.
in the American Championship, and
Mhm.
he's going for the overall Rally 2 title at the end of the season. Like
Mhm.
it's mental. But again, I think the event that stands out for me was Yeep again. Like he you know those top results that we were talking about with the Irish lads, they all could look back to John and be thankful for the contributions that he's made in all the different programs. And
Mhm.
again, it's nothing other than generosity and just a love for the sport and a desire to see these young fellas get a chance to go for the titles. And
Yeah.
you can't give somebody like that enough credit for
No.
doing that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then like Shimmersburg, I don't know like how many times he's won the two-wheel drive category now. And you know, another, shall we say, not young man, but to be, you know, still wanting to go out there and be so competitive. You know, Enda McCormick, another man that has, you know, helped to make things happen out in America too. It's brilliant. And then, you know, the co-drivers, like with all these COVID restrictions and things, it's not easy, you know, getting back and forth to these countries. You know, like Martin Brady, you know, Dara Mullen, you know, Niall Burns, we mentioned earlier, Gary McElhenney.
Yeah.
You know, these guys, it's not just the matter of going and jumping on a plane anymore now. There's a lot more paperwork and a lot more, I suppose, hassle. But like to make all that happen, you know, they deserve credit for it, I suppose, is what I'm really trying to say, you know. So
yeah, no, it's been brilliant, and again, it's nice to see doors opening for all those people as well. I'm sure, you know, it's everyone's going to love rallying in Ireland or in the UK, but when you get a chance to go and do international events with the field of drivers and new drivers coming up in America, and obviously they're getting advice to you know, knock the door of certain co-drivers over here, and it's it's great to see that avenue and just the opportunity that brings with it.
And like, you know, I suppose like it has to only be a matter of time until the WRC lands back to America again too, you know. And like we'd like to think maybe that, you know, the likes of Barry McKenna and these guys, you know, could be instrumental in making that happen.
Yeah, for sure. Whether it's, you know, what we talk about the struggles for a snow rally in Europe now, and one in North America seems to make more and more sense as the years go by. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But again, a rally in America makes a lot of commercial sense, and with that community and the base of experienced rally people over there now, you know, why not?
Yeah, I think that rally last year in New York, there was Dirtfish New York rally. Like that was a small team of guys here in Ireland done a lot of the planning for that, you know, and it was the likes of McKenna and these guys behind that you know, run the event with very short notice, and probably was one of the standout events in America last year. So it just shows you what can be achieved when people put their mind to it.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if it's a thing over there where, you know, if you look back 40 years ago here and how many events were being started, or, you know, people were clubbing together and just going for an idea and sort of going for it, not necessarily winging it, but you know, there were no huge barriers in their way to putting something new together. And I guess with the progressiveness of rallying in America, there's maybe a chance that they can just go and create something new with the right group of people together. You know, that's probably is a possibility going forward.
Absolutely. And like, well, just a wee quick look, you know, the Australian Championship, you know, like Glenn Alcorn, Johnny Charleston, you know, producing great results there in their Mark II. Richie Dalton in the Shamrock Motorsport car, you know, John Squeak McHugh, Sean McAloon, Brian O'Neill, and then, you know, like some Mike Cairns that was sitting in there with young McRae coming up through. Like, you know, once again, our guys, you know, are out there enjoying themselves, you know, showing what's so good about Irish motorsport, and, you know, helping set the stage of the light over there is really what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's just the community thing again. With just such a strong base at home in Ireland, just a big base for rallying, and when people go abroad to these countries, they can bring that experience over. And yeah, it's nice to see that. And again, Mark Cairns with Max McRae, that was a nice sort of period this year, and just again something a wee bit different.
Like, I suppose, like, we have to look closer to home. You know, hasn't been the year we would have wanted. You know, we want championships, we want, you know, rallies on, you know, every weekend nearly almost, but you know, we didn't get that. But come September, it was great to see events finally starting to roll back in again. Did you enjoy seeing cars back on the stages here again?
Oh, definitely. Cork, just going down to that first stage in Cork and sitting up in someone's driveway watching the cars fly past. To be honest, it was like it was never away. You just forgot about that 18-month period or however long it was.
Mm-hmm.
Without rallying, and yeah, it was Roy White's WRC Fiesta was one of the first ones past, and just that thunder and the shock that goes through your body when they fly past,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like it was never away. And I think the big thing I took away from Cork was just the chats you were having with marshals and spectators. Everybody there, they were glad to be there. They were on the junctions I was at, there were no issues. Everybody was working well with each other. Everybody had a smile on their face. It was brilliant. And again, the stages were lined with people, so much enthusiasm. Seeing like the residents who live on the stage coming out and joining in with the people watching in their front gardens. Like, for me, that's what's special about rallying in Ireland. It's going to the rally on your doorstep, but it's equally, welcoming the people from across the country who are, coming to your area to watch the sport they love. And even back to the B&B we were staying in, they ask, what are you down for, and the rally's on, and again, that just sparks a whole conversation, and you can't get away from the B&B for the owners asking you so many questions. And do you remember this 10 years ago? And, do you remember Fisher, and do you remember McHale? And then they go through all the cars they remember, and the stickers they got in service one year, and all these different things. Like, it is special. And I think there's so many people missed it over that period, but when it came back, and it's been such a good few months at home with all the battles and all the wins by different people. No, it's been brilliant.
I think like my first event back then would have been it was the harvest here, just outside Donegal town, and as you say, that just walking up to a junction, the bit of banter you have with the marshals and the people, and you forget how good that is. That it's just such a warm community. Like I was standing, in this man's yard, and next thing he lands out 2 mugs of tea. Where else would you get it? It's just
exactly.
Like I bumped into that man a couple of times since. Young lad, how's it going there?
It's so true though, and everybody has their own story like that. It's brilliant. Even the adventures you have getting to a junction on the stage, it's just brought it into my head now. The second, so we went to our first junction on the first loop, which was straightforward, and then the second one we had a nice wee spot lined up, and of course you got the map out on the program, and you're making your way there, and the road gets narrower and narrower and bumpier. The grass in the middle of the road gets bigger. Next thing, there's no tarmac, and you're in rough stones and potholes, and this was deadly crack. But one of those ones you were like, what on earth am I doing this for? And then in the drive home, you're sitting laughing in stitches, looking back on it. But no, it's brilliant. It's some crack now.
Yes. And like, Donegal, there has always been a special relationship with Raleigh, but this year to me, I think it went to a whole new level. Like Donna Kelly, the man who never fails to surprise, I think surprised even me this year with the opening up of his Stables Motorsport Museum.
Yeah.
The range of cars he has on display, unbelievable. And then that was surprise. To open up officially and to get like Ari Vatanen over to do it, like the man, I don't know, whatever way his brain works, it's a whole different level. At like that whole weekend, we helped to launch the harvest, and the same weekend, like Ari Vatanen, for a man who must be in his early 70s, such energy, such enthusiasm, but like everything he just took in his stride. But like for Kelly to come up with the idea of to put a museum in not his backyard, but close to his backyard, and to build it to such a level, and the cars he has in it just blows you away. And and then a few weeks after that, to have Deja Vu run out of it, and then Paddy Hopkirk, Jimmy McRae, a number of the day of the official opening, chatting to a guy, and he says, every time I look around, I don't know where to look at the cars, the photographs, or the Donegal winners. Because there was, all these legends of the sport were walking about, and as he said, I think I've died, and I didn't, I think I've gone to heaven, and I didn't even have to die, so I think that's
brilliant. That's unbelievable.
That weekend was it was the end of August as we were ready to get rallying back. That was me ready, let's go rallying again. Then I was just full buzz on at that stage, and like we've had the Harvest, we've had the Ulster, and two great events and with the Bushwhacker as well. Sorry, the Bushwhacker. Just great to get that vibe back again,
the fever was back, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure, And like we mentioned there, like Callum Devine, like three brilliant results. Tour Stearns, sorry, I forgot the Tour Stearns. Characteristics of the roads, probably three completely different, characteristics of events. But we went there, done what he needed to do, level-headed, very mature approach to the three of them, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I think for Callum, the Harvest was maybe the one he went all out for, or the one he had to go, and put the car in the line to go and win it. And that's credit to Declan Boyle in the end. Obviously Declan brought the WRC back and did that, and that was special in its own way. But the times that he was putting in to match Callum and to beat Callum, I think they won 3 stages each in the end. And obviously that last stage was a massive shootout between them. So I guess it's not possible not to get excited after that and think of if that's what a six-stage rally, one-off rally was like in 2021, what are these 2-day international rallies going to be like in 22? So it's it was definitely a class one. And as you say, that whole atmosphere around Donegal, like I feel like we've missed the international rally, but having that buzz, having the names back, having those classic cars back on the Deja Vu run as well, it just got that excitement back. And just Donegal is one of those places that if there's a rally on, there's a special atmosphere around the area, no matter what. So no, it was brilliant, and it was just a nice way, I guess, to feel us back into rallying in Ireland again.
For sure. And like we can't, talk about rallying in Ireland without talking about the modified guys, they probably have been the stars of the show in a lot of the events, you think Kevin Eves, Gary Kiernan, Rob Duggan, Colin O'Donoghue, like these guys are exceptionally talented rally drivers, period, weren't they?
Yeah, they have definitely been a big part of how good the rallies have been at the end of 2021. And I think those battles, and the guy I think about is Andy Walsh at the stage ends, just the action, Killian of course too, but the action that Andy picks up at those final stage shootouts. Like there's been a few where Kevin Eves has had to push hard to go and grab the 2-wheel drive win, and Gary Kiernan as well. I know he's had a few fight backs in the modified rallies this year, and it's just that sheer adrenaline and buzz, and those guys are out for the crack, but they're there to win, and
Yes.
to know the guys they're fighting with are, properly on the edge all the time. So those battles have been brilliant, and I guess with the lack of events that we've had this year, it's meant there has been more of those rivalries together in a way in the certain events. So if we can carry that across to some of the bigger rallies next year, that's an exciting prospect.
Yeah, and yes, they're rivals, but the banter goes on between them as well. Like those stage ends, there's some of them's comical at times too. They only want to know what like Eves will want to know what time Kieran done, or whatever. It doesn't matter really if anybody else what did he do, and it's they're so driven, but it's so funny the way they can do it, and it's just the passion and the love just flies out of them, doesn't it?
It's just the YouTube videos or whatever that you're used to watching over the years of the classic moments or the classic lines that come out from the drivers. Like that's what you get week in, week out now with those modified guys. And again, that togetherness, like on Killarney Historic at the end of the rally, the cars parked up on the back road coming into the finish ramp, and you walked up there and you got to the modified guys, and they're all sitting on and around, I think it was Kevin Eaves's car. They're just sitting on the bonnet of the car, they're sitting on someone's fence, they're chatting away how the rally went, what the crack was, winding each other up. Like that whole atmosphere is special, and it's just, I think they're all out to enjoy it. They want the quickest guys, their mates or whatever, to be out on the same rallies as them, and that's all part of it for them. They don't want to go to an event with an easy entry list just so they can grab the class win. That's not what it's about at all. Which I think in many ways is pretty unique to rallying in Ireland, that competitive rivalry with a bit of crack, a good bit of crack, sort of merged into the middle of it.
Yeah. And then I guess we have to mention the one man, Bobby Wallace, who has been moving heaven and earth and everything else in between, I would say, at this stage, to hopefully get WRC Northern Ireland here in 2022. I can't think of anybody else who would have put up with what he has had to go through now his last few years to make this event happen.
Yeah. Again, we'll talk about certain individuals and the effort to put in to rallying, and Bobby really can't be given enough credit for the work and the stress that he's went through to try and make Rally Northern Ireland happen. And as of yet, it's still not confirmed, and I think they're waiting on certain things that's largely out of their hands. But again, it's the type of thing they can't stop preparing for it. They have to prepare as if it's happening and really just hope that it comes together. But again, like, what can you say? You know what Bobby was able to do with the Circuit of Ireland and the European Rally Championship, and you have those videos of the leading drivers after Torhead and speechless, like they couldn't string a sentence together.
And even the town stages like Newton Ards and Lisburn,
exactly,
like, making things like that happen. Like it was, anybody else sitting down with a blank sheet of paper would have put a line through them things, but he plowed on and made them happen, didn't he? Live streaming as well, way before it was even a thing, even in WRC.
It's that thing. It's hard enough to organise a rally, full stop. Never mind an international rally. Never mind all those extra pieces that he puts together. And I think with Bobby, he would be disappointed if he just ran a rally. He would want to have the extra bits and bobs. He would want the local people to benefit it. He would want people to come to it and want it to happen again the next year. He really does have that desire to not only have a rally but make sure it's the best possible rally it can be. And I think with the whole Rally Northern Ireland thing, the running theme, chatting to Bobby about it, is how he wants it to benefit Irish rallying as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just doesn't want a round of the World Championship for a one-off. He wants it to benefit, you know, all the other series, whether it's the Tarmac Championship, whether it's the National Championship,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's other rallies in Northern Ireland. He genuinely wants, you know, to increase people's awareness of the sport, increase, you know, engineering in schools, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
He has the vision for all of that and the desire to really benefit as much as it possibly can.
Yeah, like, you know, it'll be like for tourism alone, like, you know, what that to do. We've seen, you know, them coming to like the golf, you know, the British Open or whatever, coming to Royal Portrush. Like it never left Portrush, but like it brought, you know, thousands upon thousands. Like if them helicopters was flying over Hamilton's Folly or flying over wherever, you know, like the images that they can beam around the world, like, you know, that alone, never mind, as you were saying there about, you know, the STEM and schools and all these other bits and pieces, like the local councils, even, you know, the likes of, say, Josh McLean, who has a sponsor or somebody that's, you know, will we go with this, will we not, you know, is it worth, you know, sponsoring this young lad coming up through to see, you know, the top World Championship event coming to our shores, we could open up so many more avenues and so many more doors for all these other young guys coming up through.
Yeah, look, it's a no-brainer. It really is. And again, if you want to relate tourism to like the Donegal International, how many hotels and B&Bs are booked up over that weekend alone. And, you know, Belfast has so many hotels, so many new hotels, so many upgraded hotels. It's, you know, it's, again, the rallies will be based in Belfast. It's rare that a rally now is based in the capital city of a country, and it just makes so much sense. So I really hope it happens, and I think if it does happen, it will be one of the best experiences rallying in the country has had. Again, obviously we had 2007 and 2009 and they were brilliant, but there were parts of that when you look back, you think of the time of year it was in, you think of the weather, you think of the areas. Obviously the areas were in strong rally regions in Ireland, but the prospect of having stages in County Antrim, County Down, you know, near the Mourns, on the Glens of Antrim, like they really are
iconic stages.
Stages. And again, they're going to be stages that were picked for the early Circuit of Ireland's in the 70s when you know, you really had the best roads just picked for the rally. So look, it's something everybody's excited about. It's the first question people ask me whenever they see SEMA. It's on the, you know, it's on everyone's lips, but it really is just a waiting game, and you can't jump the gun in terms of saying it's happening or it's not. But for sure, the work going on in the background, it's been phenomenal. And bringing back to your point at the start, like Bobby deserves as much support as we can give him. He deserves as much credit as we can give him, because he's definitely went through a lot to try and make this happen.
Yeah, for sure. And the, you know, it goes without saying, all the officials, marshals, you know, organisers, all that, you know, they're the backbone of this sport. You know, we can't forget, like, you know, without them there would be no show. Like, and that's just the long and the short of it, you know. So we'll start wrapping up now. So, like, you know, we have had such a wonderful year. Like, we keep thinking this can't get any better, but for whatever reason, you know, we do keep seeing, you know, the next generation coming through. You know, we've mentioned some of the names. You know, what's your hopes ahead of 2022?
Oh, I wasn't expecting this. The things I'm looking forward to, I suppose, is the Tarmac Championship. I think that's going to be a big thing next year, just with the likes of the Cork 20 sort of gave you a snippet of what next year could be like. And I know Galway has released that they're going to a 2-day format, and I think that's something that it's going to be a brilliant way to kickstart the year. And hopefully all the other rounds get back to sort of full international strength. I'm sure they're going to be an unbelievable amount of R5 and Rally 2 cars on their entry list, and we don't need to go into the details of how good those battles will be. I guess with Craig and Paul, you sort of hope that they can get a win under their belt together in WRC. Whether they can put a championship attack on, who knows? The car seems in good shape, and with everything that's happened with Hyundai recently, you sort of think they might be in the back foot at the start, especially. And yeah, with Josh, William and John, you just hope that they continue to get some support to prove themselves on the international stage, because they really won't disappoint. And yes, they've achieved some good things this year, but really that was a development year for all three of them in a big respect. So I think that's all pretty exciting.
And I think one of the other sort of main guys behind a lot of rallying in Ireland in 2021 we haven't mentioned is yourself. I'm sure you don't want to be doing this, but Rally Insight, like what you've developed over the past 3 years, has just been like from very humble beginnings. You've developed a brand that is the go-to social media outlet for anything you want to know about Irish rally. You've 3 yearbooks under your belt. You've gained the respect of drivers, officials. The quality of content you're producing there is like second to none.
Hope you've stopped recording this week, Gavin, before you said all that. No, I don't know what to say. It's, to be honest, it's just a pleasure to be able to do it. I can't even remember when I started writing, but it was for motorsport outlets in the UK, and when you're trying to explain to people over there what rallying in Ireland's like, they really don't get it, to be honest, unless they've been over here and experienced it. You don't know what it's like. And as well, I think before COVID we maybe took what we had for granted, but now definitely everybody seems in the same frame of mind where we're here to enjoy it. And really Rally Insight is just there to give as much publicity as it can, and I hope it helps. Okay, it's maybe not a newspaper where somebody completely foreign to rallying will see it and become interested, but I hope it helps to continue people's interest in it, whether it makes it easier to follow stories and follow results. But I think one thing that I always try to do is try and get the story from the driver or the co-driver's perspective, or the team managers, or the whatever, even the event clerk of the course, whoever it is, but to try and get those stories. And at the end of the day, the sport's about people and what they're doing, and that's the bit I find interesting. I enjoy the conversations with people about what they're doing, what they're planning to do, what they want to achieve, all the way side stories to the results. So yeah, I hope I can keep continuing to do it, because it's not easy to keep on top of all the time, but when the enjoyment's there, it's hard to resist writing a story when you get the chance. And again, if I swing it back to you and all the other podcasters who have been going over the past few years, like it's been brilliant. And just having that chance to sit down and with a background interview with some of the famous names that like we all know, but you have never actually heard their full story before. And yeah, it's something that clearly everybody has enjoyed, because you can see from the responses that the interviews go down well. So no, it's a credit to you, Kevin. And yeah, it's brilliant. I hope now when we get back into the swing of things in 2022 that, you know, the stories continue, and while we keep tracing back to years gone by, that you know, the next few years bring some brilliant Irish rallying stories as well.
Oh, here, without a doubt, you know, we can look back, but we also have to look forward. You know, we have such you know, such an exciting crop of talent coming through at the moment. Like, I do believe we're in another golden era of Irish rallying. Like 2019, the Tarmac Championship, I think is going to go down as one of those years that's going to be up there amongst the best of the best, you know. And like, if that was anything to go by, I have no doubt 2022 is going to be even better.
Yep, fingers crossed. Definitely.
Yes. So I'm going to give you now, for just to finish things up, just the quick fire questions.
What? You really are getting your money's worth here.
Yeah, I tell you. So I must make it clear, we recorded this in the day of the final Grand Prix of the season. So Max or Lewis?
I'll go for young blood and say Max. Someone different.
Your drive of the year from an Irish perspective?
I'm gonna have to say John Armstrong in either Croatia or Ypres. Those two wins. Croatia, like he wasn't expecting to be competitive there, never mind win it, and he was able to win it. And Ypres, he was just so dominant.
And internationally, then, your drive of the year?
Probably Craig Breen's, although it wasn't a win, but Craig Breen's rally in Ypres as well. I think he had Thierry Neville's pace, and I think he could have went on to win that rally if he was given the chance, just to jump into World Rally Car and on tarmac, and go and do that. I think that's a pretty special drive.
And your surprise of the year?
Oh dear. Let's see. Maybe not a surprise, but I think a first win that's gonna go down sort of in history, and probably kickstart an exciting year. Next year is Cagliari and Pera. Obviously he's had the pace to win a rally for a long time, but to go and grab the win, and pretty, you know, he did it professionally and without any drama, you know, that way. He was able to control that very well. And obviously with Ogier going part-time next year, I think it won't be long till he's knocking on the door of a championship.
Cool. Your hope for 2022, is there one driver, co-driver, crew member that you would love to sit down and chat to in 2022?
Oh dear. The one driver that I've always wanted to talk to is Jimmy McRae. Just that aura about him, and the wins that he had over here. But I did that this year, so that's not next year. It's, I don't know. I can't pull a name out of my hat and say I want to interview for next year. But Jimmy McRae was definitely one that I always wanted to talk to, and I'm really glad to have got that opportunity this year.
Pretty special. And then your own plan for Rally Insight in 2022. What's your vision?
The plan will be to attend every Tarmac Championship round as a start. Hopefully give as many reports on the rest of the rallies as possible as well, and continue with just generally tracking the drivers' progress that's running in the international field, and again try and get another yearbook pulled together, with a range of whatever's happened in 2021, and hopefully a few more stories from years gone by as well.
Well, Adam Hall, it's been a pleasure, and thank you very much. I knew I threw a few wobbly ones there at you at the end, but
That's straight.
No, as I say, what we have at home. It's nice to look back and show that we appreciate what's happening there, on the world stage, and to celebrate what we have, I suppose, really.
Yeah, no, thank you, Kevin. And it's just been great to have the opportunity to go and review the year like that. And hopefully that's just going to be a short one compared to what happens in 2022.
Yeah. Oh, and we should tell everybody, Rally Insight Yearbook is still available. Contact you through your Facebook, social media, any pages, really. Drop you a message.
Yep. Perfect. That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. Man. Take care.
Thank you, Kevin. All the best. Bye-bye.
So that was Adam Hall and myself, Kevin Glendenning, doing a review on Irish rallying in 2021. If you enjoyed it, can you please like and share it across all social media? And if you can subscribe to my channels, it would be gratefully appreciated. So until next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.